When it breaks, the private credit collapse timeline. What happens next? Now you will see how this could collapse. But in part 3, I'll show you something even more important, why almost no one is paying attention while this builds. Stay with me, because what I'm about to walk you through is not theory. It's a timeline, a step-by-step chain reaction of how a $3.5 trillion market can go from stable to stressed to breaking. And the dangerous part? By the time most people notice, it's already too late to react. This isn't a loud crash. It starts quietly. A missed payment, a delayed refinancing, a loan quietly restructured behind closed doors. No headlines. But underneath, pressure is building. And if it reaches a tipping point, it won't stay in private credit. It will spread into everything. Markets, jobs, businesses, your money. So let's walk through it, step by step, from the first crack to full financial shock. Part 1, Stage 1. The silent stress, months before anyone notices. At the beginning, nothing looks broken. Markets are calm, news is normal, investors feel confident. But inside private credit, something changes. It starts with cash flow pressure. Companies that borrowed heavily during low interest rates now face higher repayments, slower revenues, rising operating costs. At first, they cope. They cut expenses, delay investments, stretch payments. But then, the first cracks appear. A company misses a payment. Quietly. No headlines, no panic. The lender steps in and says, "Let's restructure." Part 2, Stage 2, Extend and Pretend, begins. This is where the system hides its problems. Instead of declaring a loss, private credit funds do something else. They extend the loan, adjust the terms, push repayment further into the future. On paper, everything looks fine. The loan is still performing. Investors still see stable returns. But in reality, the problem hasn't been solved. It's been delayed. Now multiply this across dozens, then hundreds of companies. And suddenly, a large part of the market is under stress. But no one can see it clearly. This is the illusion phase. Part 3, Stage 3, Refinancing wall, the real pressure point. Now we hit a critical moment. Debt doesn't last forever. At some point, loans must be refinanced. And here's the problem. The environment has changed. Interest rates are higher. Lenders are more cautious. Risk appetite is falling. So when companies try to refinance, they face much higher costs. Or worse, no buyers at all. This creates what's known as a refinancing wall, a wave of debt, all coming due at the same time. And this is where stress turns into risk. Part 4, Stage 4, Defaults start rising. At first, it's small. A few companies can't refinance. They default. Still no panic. The narrative is isolated cases, manageable risk, contained issue. But then, more companies follow. Because they're facing the same conditions: high debt, high rates, weak growth. And suddenly, defaults are no longer isolated, they're systemic. Part 5, Stage 5, Valuation shock. Now something critical happens. Remember, private credit assets are not priced daily. But when defaults increase, valuations must be adjusted. Funds start marking down assets. Investors begin to notice, why is my return lower? Why is this fund underperforming? Confidence starts to crack. Part 6, Stage 6, Investor panic, the turning point. This is the moment everything changes. Investors, especially institutional ones, start asking questions. How exposed are we? What is this really worth? Can we get our money back? And then withdrawals begin, slow at first, then faster. But here's the problem. Private credit is illiquid. Funds can't easily sell assets to meet redemptions. So what happens? Gates are introduced, withdrawal limits. Payments are delayed, access to capital is restricted. This is when panic spreads. Part 7, Stage 7, Liquidity freeze. Now we enter dangerous territory. Funds are under pressure, they need cash. But buyers disappear, prices drop sharply, deals stop happening, the market freezes. And when liquidity disappears, prices fall faster, losses accelerate, confidence collapses. This is no longer contained. Part 8, Stage 8, Contagion begins. Here's where it spreads beyond private credit. Companies that relied on this funding now face no access to capital, no refinancing options, immediate financial pressure. They start cutting jobs, selling assets, reducing operations. This impacts suppliers, employees, other industries, and suddenly, a financial problem becomes an economic problem. Part 9, Stage 9, Market Reaction. Now public markets wake up, stocks begin to fall. Why? Because investors realize this isn't isolated. This affects real businesses. This affects earnings. Credit markets tighten, risk premiums rise, and fear spreads. Part 10, Stage 10, Policy Response. Too late? At this point, central banks and governments step in. They may inject liquidity, lower rates, provide emergency support. But here's the problem. Private credit is not as directly controlled as banks. So, intervention is harder, slower, less precise, and by the time action is taken, the damage may already be spreading. Part 11, The Full Picture. Why this cascade is so dangerous. Let's zoom out. This entire collapse sequence is dangerous because it starts invisible, it builds quietly, it accelerates suddenly. There's no clear warning signal, no obvious trigger, just pressure, delay, then release. And when it releases, it can move very fast. Part 12. Real-world parallels. Subtle but powerful. We've seen versions of this before. Different markets, same pattern. Hidden risk, delayed losses, sudden realization. But this time, the structure is different. The visibility is lower. The scale is massive. Part 13. The psychology of collapse. Here's something most people underestimate. Financial crises are not just about numbers. They're about confidence. As long as people believe everything is fine, the system holds. But when belief breaks, everything changes. And in private credit, that belief is built on incomplete information, which makes it fragile. Part 14. The worst-case scenario. Let's be clear, this is not guaranteed. But if everything lines up, rising defaults, investor withdrawals, liquidity freeze, economic slowdown, then the result could be a full credit contraction. And when credit contracts, growth slows, businesses fail, unemployment rises. This is how financial stress becomes real-world impact. Part 15. What smart investors watch now? So, what are the early warning signs? Pay attention to rising default rates, increasing restructuring activity, fund withdrawal restrictions, sudden drops in reported returns. These are signals, not headlines, but signals. Final thought. The most dangerous crises are not the ones everyone fears. They're the ones no one fully understands. Private credit is not inherently bad. It solved real problems. It provided capital. It fueled growth. But now, it may also be carrying hidden risk. And if that risk begins to surface, it won't announce itself politely. It will move through the system, quietly at first, then all at once. So now I'll ask you, if this timeline starts playing out, would you recognize it early, or would you only see it when it's already happening? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to stay ahead of the next financial shift, subscribe now, because the next video might not be a warning. It might be an update. Stay awake, stay aware. I'm Felix from Mindful Minds and Money. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.